Welcome everyone to episode 32 of Knittings and Sewings, a podcast about all things knitting, spinning, weaving, sewing, dyeing, whatever else I get up to. And I am Shelley from the Kansas City area. I'm sitting out here on a beautiful summer morning. I started to say spring, but it feels fairly pleasant for some of the weather we've been having. It's been pretty warm. So this is a little bit of a reprieve during this 4th of July long weekend. I was able during the weekend to finish up the top you see that I'm wearing, which is the knitted tank top pattern by Knit Crow Addict. And it's a free pattern, although you can spend $5 for it and get an easily printed version as well as having a video that accompanies it. And I would say I wanted to support the designer, and I did like the video that made it a little bit easier to understand the concept of her design. And definitely, if you're a newer knitter, you would probably want to watch the video. I think it would be helpful. And so I want to tell you a little bit about this particular design and some of the changes that I made to it. There weren't a lot of changes. I think it fits very well. And I'm going to put up a picture of me wearing it, the front and the back views of the pattern. I think it's very well fitting. I made the size 4, which is the large, and I made it supposed to accommodate a 42-inch bust, which it does, finished. And there's a little bit of ease to it, and especially with the fabric I used, the yarn was the Hobbii cotton, the cotton blend, so it was cotton silk. So it was, I'll put the yarn I used up also. Some of the Hobbii yarns do run out of stock. I will warn you, they may not have this particular color, which is the pink. They may not have this at the moment, but if you are interested in any of the fabric or the yarns that they have and they're out of stock, just put a notification on, they'll let you know when they return. But this is almost reminds me of a dentine gum type color, and I used to chew a lot of dentine as a child, so I do like the way that the color, the variegated color turned out. It didn't pool in any place that was a problem for me, and the fabric it made is kind of stretchy, pleasantly stretchy and comfortable. And I made 12 inches from underarm to the bottom, which for me is a good length. I like the way the underarm fits, particularly because a lot of times with tank tops, what I don't like is they can have a big gap here or gaping effect under the arm, making it necessary to wear a camisole beneath it. But in this case, I'm able to wear a bra and not have to wear a camisole. The straps cover the bra area completely, and then the underarm is nicely fitting. I chose, as far as adaptations to the pattern, I followed it as written, and it starts with the back of the neck, or the back. There's a rectangle you begin with, and then you go into making the straps in the front, and once you get to the underarm, you're connecting it all and knitting in the round. And so I like the way the pattern is designed. It's kind of an ingenious way of doing a tank top. I guess this is the first time I've actually knitted a tank top. So I was pleased with the way that it came together and pleased with the result. The only thing I changed was around the neckline. I didn't want it to be gaping at the neckline because it is a little bit low cut for me, but not bad. I wanted it to have a firm neckline. So I used, instead of the ribbing she calls for, the twisted ribbing on the neck, I chose instead to use an I-cord bind off finishing there. I did not choose to do anything around the strap on the outside under the arm. I wanted to leave it plain so that it's more comfortable and I don't have anything, I didn't want anything like I-cord there. That was my own personal choice, but you certainly could do whatever you want. She had a ribbing on the outer part here. And then I did do the ribbing that she suggested on the bottom, the twisted rib, and it turned out nicely. I used a size 2 for the neckline to make it tighter, and here on the bottom I used a 3. So, because I wanted it to be nicely fitting but not tight on the bottom there, on the hemline. So I like how it turned out, and I would recommend this pattern to any of you that are looking for a tank. And yeah, I think it's a, you know, an excellently written and executed pattern. I really think it's one you might want to look into. I'm still drinking blueberry tea. I think I was drinking this blueberry sage tea in the last episode, and I've been enjoying it all summer. In fact, I've been eating a lot of blueberries. They're in season still, and so I've been enjoying going to the farmer's market and picking up several little pints of blueberries each week. Bob and I both eat a lot of them. So the blueberry tea is a nice summer accompaniment. Next up, I want to talk about the crochet tank top I have been making. This one is a bag-o-day. It's not a pattern. It's a bag-o-day crochet tutorial. And I'll put a link to it. I've been slowly working on this. It's very mindless crochet. And right now I have 26 inches. As it goes, you're crocheting it in terms of width. And the vertical part is, there's going to be lines vertically going down. This one I may have made a little bit too long on the body. I'm not really sure yet. I've got to crochet some straps. And I still have about 13 more inches, I guess, of the body to crochet before I start the straps. But the yarn I'm using is wonderful. It is and I'm holding two of these yarns together, but it's the TruBoo by LionBrand, and it's the Silver Arnet colorway. Again, I'm holding two of these. The yarn it produces is the fabric is very silky and cool and nice feeling. So I think this is a good summer fabric for a tank top. I hope that the body won't be too boxy, because you're just knitting a rectangle, crocheting a rectangle, and then you're going to put it together under the arm there, sew it together, seam it together, and then put straps on the top. So I'm not quite there yet, but almost. I'm getting close. And because I'm making it in a very stretchy yarn, I may not have to crochet as wide a width as I normally would with other fabric. But I think I'm getting close to being done with this. And again, I don't know how it's going to work out on the length. It may end up being a little bit too long, but we'll find out. And so I will hopefully be wearing this next time we get together in episode 33, because it's coming along nicely. So what else have I been up to? Well, I've been in the midst of Tour de Fleece. Like many spinners, we go following the Tour de France. We spin. Our goal is to spin every day, or almost every day. And my goal is to spend 20 minutes every single day if possible. And so I have been doing that. And I have two clips here talking a little bit about my spinning efforts so far. Welcome to day one of Tour de Fleece, which is going to be happening during the Tour de France for almost a month. We're going to be spinning every day. My goal is to spin for at least 20 minutes if I can every day. And definitely to try for almost every day except for the rest days. There's a couple of rest days. But I'm going to be spinning, this is a 2-ounce bobbin on my Nano 2 little wheel, which is named Felix. And then I'll be plying on my larger wheel, Oscar, which is my 6.0 Dreaming Robots wheel. I haven't worked on Felix in quite some time, so I'm really excited to be working on him again. It's really fun, and I feel like I accomplish a lot when I fill a 2-ounce bobbin. But this is what I'm spinning, is the Shetland Collection Forever in Fiber on Etsy is where I got it. And the neat thing about this is she has, the reason it's called Collection, she has 5 different colors that are included in the kit, and she does prep it already with the silk, makes a nice little easy to spin packet coming right out every day when I need to spin without doing any prep. Now on the days where I have a little bit more time, I can work on my Espionage fiber, which is the one that I washed, and it's a beautiful brown and black fleece, and it also has a little bit of the white. But I'm going to enjoy doing that and trying different kinds of fiber prep, including combing and flicking and carding. So it'll be a really fun fiber adventure, and I'm quite looking forward to it. Happy Tour de Fleece to you. Hello everyone. Today is the afternoon of day 7 of Tour de Fleece. Today you will notice I am working on my matchless spinning wheel, which is Mabel. Her name is Mabel. She is a 2011 matchless spinning wheel from Shacked. And I had been kind of putting her aside for a while because in lieu of my electric wheels, which is Oscar and Felix. But lately I've been missing her, and one problem I was having with her, after all these years of spinning, I was having a little bit of looseness down here on the treadles. She was shifting periodically as I spun. And so Bob made an adjustment to fix the treadles so that they would stay a little bit better. I believe he had to put a little wood putty. Is that correct, honey?
No, just tightening.
Just tightening. Oh, it was not wood putty. It was just tightening some screws. And where were the screws down here?
Yeah,
on the front. We were thinking we might have to put wood putty, but he didn't end up having to do that.
Plastic wood.
Yeah, I thought plastic wood, in other words, but we didn't need that. So now I'm able to ply. What I'm doing today is plying 2 of the mini skeins I have spun over the last few days. This is the silver gray I'm doing right now. But I really missed a little bit of the treadling action with the feet. And so I may end up spinning tonight on my matchless once I get these plied up. But anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful Tour de Fleece. And I'm excited to say I have spun every day of the first 7 for at least 20 minutes. That's been my goal. Haven't made huge inroads. I haven't spun up miles and miles of yarn, but I have spun every day and I'm happy with my progress. I want to also talk about what has been on my mind a lot lately, which has been crochet. And I think part of the motivation is I've really enjoyed the easy tank top that I've been working on. It's very relaxing to just sit mindlessly and crochet, and not that all crochet is mindless. Believe me, I realize there are some pretty beautiful and complex crochets, but for me, I often use crochet as my relaxing outlet. And so what I've been thinking of lately is I've been having an urge to do more crochet, and in fact I ordered a crochet hook that is an interchangeable set that I should have maybe even by the time we wrap up this podcast. If so, I'll put in a little shot of the crochet hook set I got. I'm quite excited about getting that. My friend Carolyn got one and recommended this Etsy seller. So hopefully I'll get that, be able to squeeze it in with this episode. Well, I wanted to do a quick little bit to show you about the new crochet hook. This is an interchangeable crochet hook set that I got, and I bought these from BWA Wood Turning. It's a guy named Bruce and his wife Tracy. They're from Canada. You can go to bwawoodturning.com and get one of these sets if you're interested. My friend Carolyn got one and liked it, and so I wanted to get one with the purple, because purple, I think it's called Agate, if it's pronounced agate or agate, I don't know. But it comes with, the size I'm using right now is the size I, which is the 5.5 millimeter. And then it has a total of 8 different little hooks, little screw-in hooks. And the way that it works is when you want to unscrew, when you want to take it out, you unscrew this little part here, but you don't totally take it off, but you just pull out what the hook that you're using. And then when you want to tighten it, you tighten it from here, but you never take this little part off. This is called the collet, I think they said. So once you have it secure, then, Walter, you gonna help me? You can help me crochet? I've started using this evening. I just got it. And I really like the feel of it. Crochet hooks feel differently to different people in their hands. But I tend to be, you might come up closer to show, I tend to be a knife crocheter, so I hold it like this. and it works very well for me so far. And then even if you're a pencil holder, which I don't do, but even if you crochet like this, which boy, this is really awkward for me since I'm not a pencil holder. But it works for that too. I'm not going to keep doing that because I don't do that well. But I'm finding it very comfortable in my hand. It's very smooth. The join is very smooth here. And I'm really enjoying using it. And I think that it comes with a little bag. I suppose you could make a little set for, you know, holder for it. And that may be what I'll do in the future. But for right now, it comes in a little bag. And I'm really liking it. So I wrote down all the different sizes. It comes from a 3mm, which is a D hook, all the way up to a 7, which is a K. And again, I really like it. I think it's beautiful, and I'm going to enjoy using them. But what I've been wanting to do with it is, I've been wanting to do granny squares specifically, and I've been wanting to make eventually a blanket, you know, but I'm not going to be doing that right away, but I would like to start some kind of Afghan throw, a very small one, just for my lap, to have for this winter. And that's one thing I've been wanting to do, but I haven't started that, and I want to hold off getting started on that for a little while yet, because I have a bunch of projects going at once, and I don't want to go into overwhelm mode by any means. So I have been feeling, though, that pull to do some granny squares. And granny squares have been a lot, if you have noticed, in the fashion scene lately. There have been all kinds of different celebrities and fashion magazines, and they've been on the fashion runway, the different ways of using crochet and crochet garments. So I am feeling that urge. Every time I see one of those, I feel the urge to get on the crochet bandwagon again and really go to it full throttle. But anyway, so I've been letting my mind toy with a lot of projects that I would like to do with crochet, and I'm going to be doing some. I've already got some things brewing in my mind, and I've ordered a few acrylic. I'd like to do it in acrylic so that it's, you know, very wearable, washable. Not wearable, but washable, because I have an accessory in mind. I want to start with like a little Granny Square Crochet purse. So that's what's in my head right now. I've been inspired lately by a lot of YouTube videos with the crochet. So I will tell you more about that in the next episode if I decide to get started on a little crochet purse. I also have in mind to do in the future a Granny Square poncho of sorts, kind of a mixture between a sweater and a poncho, which they call a swancho. And so I'll be talking about that next time too, if I end up deciding to go with that. But a lot of things are in my head right now to do in crochet, and I'm rather excited to show you some of the things that I do, but I don't want to, again, get too many projects going at once. And so hopefully, though, that is the direction I'm going. I've also been feeling the urge to do some sewing. And one of my favorite pattern makers, and I actually took some sewing classes with them back in 2017 and 16, 17, and 18. I took some sewing classes with the Sewing Workshop in Topeka, Kansas. And those were in-person sewing workshops. It's really where I started developing what few sewing skills I have. My sewing skills are pretty elementary, to be honest. But I really like the patterns that Sewing Workshop has. I like their design aesthetic. And I was really, really excited to hear that they were going to have, for the first time, a Zoom class you could take, a Zoom workshop. They have Facebook Lives a lot, and those are really good to watch if you do like to learn sewing techniques and things like that. They show a lot of their patterns and different ways to modify them, and they often will highlight different sewing techniques in the Facebook Lives that they put out every Tuesday. Linda Lee runs the sewing workshop, and she is just so talented, and her whole staff are very talented. But what they're doing coming up this Friday and Saturday, coming up in a few days, they're going to be doing a vest workshop where we make the vest while we're in the Zoom. And so we'll have like a class and then some time to go sew and then return to the class in the afternoon. There's going to be 2 days of that on Friday and Saturday, and I'm actually taking off work on Friday to participate in that. And I have the fabric, my fabric, and this was a kit that they had. My fabric is a beautiful violet color. It's a shimmery violet, and this is a linen lurex blend. So it's got a little bit of polyester stuff in it. And it's a very lightweight, summery feel. It has a lot of, because it's a woven fabric, it has a lot of little visible tiny holes that we can use, because what we're going to do is make a vest, which I'll show you as I progress with this. Hopefully by next episode you'll see it. We're going to be sewing a vest from this fabric, and then afterwards we're going to be doing a technique that is called Sashiko. Nancy Schreiber is someone that the sewing workshop has brought in often to do workshops on hand sewing, as well as she does some fabric dyeing as well. But she's going to be part of this workshop. We're going to have the Sashiko technique, and we're going to put it on the vest that we're making. And so it's not going to be a ton of embroidery, but it's going to be a little embellishment. So I'm quite excited to see how Nancy does that and to learn all I can about Sashiko. And in fact, I went out, I was so excited about it that I was looking into books at the library on Sashiko. And it's related with this Boro also. It's a Japanese mending technique. This book is called Boro and Sashiko, Harmonious Imperfection, The Art of Japanese Mending and Stitching. And it's by Shannon and Jason Mullett-Bowlsby. They're known as the Shibaguyz. And they have a website, which I'll link to also. But I really love this book. I got several books from the library on this topic. And this ended up being my favorite book of the ones that I checked out for free. So I ended up buying this book. And I just love the projects in it, their explanations and demonstrations of how to do this Sashiko technique, because it's not only a mending technique. I always thought of it, dismissed it as a mending technique, but it's actually a hand stitching as well. And the Sashiko part, the Boro is more of the layering of the fabrics, and the Sashiko is the handwork, the stitching that goes into it. And so I really am inspired by this book and by the sewing workshop that I'll be taking next weekend. Hopefully I will get back to the sewing machine, which I've been wanting to do for so long. So I've been craving both crochet and sewing, and that's what I'm hoping to do a little bit more of this remainder of the summer. I've done a lot of knitting so far with knitting sweaters and that kind of thing, and I kind of am ready to give that a break a little bit and switch gears to sewing and crochet, and we'll see what direction that ends up taking. And I also want to mention that in line with the embroidery, I've been doing interested embroidery since I was 13 years old. As a teenager, I did a lot of embroidery, and I embroidered onto my jeans, and I had a whole pair of jeans that I had a theme of Lucky 13 when I turned 13 years old, and I did just all kinds of embellishments all over that pair of jeans. It was my favorite, and I wore them until they were threadbare. I now wish I had saved those jeans. That would have been so meaningful to me to still have those jeans, but I remember them more vividly than almost anything I've ever made. Well, anything I've ever made, probably. So the jeans were just my favorites, and largely because of the embroidery that I would add to the jean theme, or the theme, as the year progressed. And so by the end of the year, I had covered almost that entire pair of jeans with my embroidery embellishments. And after that, I didn't do embroidery for a long time in my 20s and 30s, But when I got into the sewing workshop in 2017, they had a class featuring the Alabama Shannon embroidery techniques. And they offered a workshop on that there at the sewing workshop. And so I once again got back into some hand embroidery and hand stitching. And right now I'm working on a little embroidery project that's going to be like the Starry Night Van Gogh. And this is going to hopefully be incorporated into the Van Gogh vest that I'm weaving the fabric for right now. But that just goes to show you I have been really interested in embroidery for quite some time. But this Sashiko is kind of a new slant on it that I'm really interested and excited about learning more about. Well, that about wraps it up for today. I hope that you have been inspired by a little bit of my ideas and as well as the projects that I'm working on. I'd love to know what you're currently working on and what has been motivating you this summer. Have you been continuing to work on projects? I also miss doing socks. I would like to get another pair of socks on the needles, but I am trying to, since I've been so productive and happy with the projects I've done this year, I've been trying to not let myself get too overwhelmed. So I'm even holding up on the socks a little bit until I see what direction I'm going. But it's been a good summer so far, and the crafts have definitely helped me with a lot of the stress and tension that are going on in the world right now. And so I hope that you are getting some wonderful time in to work on your crafts, whether you're on vacation or working around the house, or maybe you haven't been able to do much this summer because you're focused on a garden or something else. I'd love to hear what you've been doing with your summer. And as I always end every podcast, I'd like to say, love what you're making and wear what you make. Goodbye, everybody. Till next time.